y'all. Happy to have on the show tonight the host of one of my favorite podcasts, the Black Superfriends Network. And they'll be joining us shortly. Horace.
Hey, what's going on, my guy?
Hey, man, how are you, man?
Great. Rush home. I think the guys were even excited about tonight. So we rush home. Everybody should be chiming in now.
Yeah. I see. Chris Leo.
Yo, what's going on?
The one and only. The one and only. Hey, man, thank you for joining me tonight, man. I've been wanting to rap with y'all cats for a minute. Everybody that's just joining, we have been joined so far by two of the members. There go the boy Zay. Hold on, let me get Zay on up in here. Hey, y'all been having a good week so far?
No.
Nah, hell no. Boy.
It's wild out here, man.
Boy, man.
Hey, Zay, I'm sending you an invitation, my brother. Be on the lookout for that.
Yeah. Hit the button, Zay.
Or send me an invitation, and I'll log you in.
What's going on, Jackie Red?
What'd you say, man?
No, we're looking at the fans. We're looking at your people.
Lolly,
We in Lolly.
Okay. What's up, bro?
All right, what's happening with you guys?
Hey, man. Hey, happy to have y'all on. For those that are just joining, we are joined by three of the four members of one of my favorite podcasts, the Black Superfriends Network, that I found out about from the girls from the Chamber Talk show, Dr. Tamika and Dr. April. Fellas, can y'all each introduce yourselves?
I go first. I'm Chris Leo, formerly known as Cash Chris, formerly known as Chris the Magnificent. Daddy is Maximus, a.k.a. the Date Doctor.
The Date Doctor in the building.
Yep. My name is Xavier. I'm Zay the ladies man, formerly Zay or International Zay, but he coming back. What's going on, guys?
What's up, Zay? Zay in the building.
All right, and I am the Horace Towns, the mogul. So I do everything. I can't help it.
Okay. So fellas, tell us, how did y'all's podcast come about?
I'm giving them
It's the man above us. Manny Fresh there had a bright idea. And I think he called on his younger brothers and we just answered the call.
Okay.
Something
The originator answer the question.
No, I was going to say, I was going to give it to Chris. Listen, me and my guys, man, we've had the most amazing, everybody got their own crew, but I just thought my guys were a little more special, man. In our room, you know, when we meet up, man, we could be in a club, we could be at the house, we could be on the block. We would have the most life-changing conversations. And, bro, I just had the idea saying, like, one day, like, bro, people need to hear, you know, like each of us in our own dynamic comes together. But I was like, man, you know what? People need to hear it. And especially the women had a view. I'm like, ain't no male version of that, man. Black men never really get a chance to talk. People really don't listen. We ain't respected. And I just thought it was time for us to do something real. And I was going through something at the moment, and this show ended up being a blessing. I was coming off of a divorce and a depression, and our conversations, man, that we were having, them helping me out. I just felt like, man, more people need to hear it. And most people do tune in and be like, bro, thank you for what y'all, you know, that conversation. But the design of everything was Chris Leo.
Okay.
To be honest with you, man, I think this podcast started back in like 94, 95. We used to sit outside on 30th Street, and then we'll just be talking, then a crowd of people will show up. You know what I'm saying? We did this on 34th and S Avenue. We'll go to church, and then the youth ministry up from the church to come over to our crib just for these same conversations. We just decided to put it on camera 3 years ago, and we made the concept at Hardest Wedding. I think that was the spark that led to the fire. And when we came back, man, we came back on the mission that we have a voice. It's an audience for every voice, and you know, we wanted to give to our audience.
Did you know, in researching y'all, man, I know that part of y'all's stories, y'all grew up together. Is that right?
Oh
Right.
Yeah.
Where y'all from?
Riviera Beach, Florida. Good old Riviera Beach, Florida, too.
yeah, the raw.
Okay.
Paradise.
For those that don't know a lot about Riviera Beach, Zay, tell us a little bit about Riviera Beach, bro.
Home sweet home. It's the best ghetto paradise ever. Always I like to talk about this because besides for Riviera Beach, there's Fort Pierce. And if you know anything about Florida, both of those are predominantly black cities, but we're the only ones who are on the eastern seaboard where we have a beach in our backyard. And it's hilarious because we know what time it is, how they do gentrification and they try to move us around. But unfortunately, fortunately for us, we're still holding it down. So the beach is in our backyard. I love it.
I'm so glad to hear that, man, because I have more than a passing interest in anthropology, and there's several major communities right now that have paid. You know, Hilton Head used to be the same way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And y'all know some of the islands off those coasts are still got people going back generations all the way to Africa. And I got a cousin from up in South Carolina from an area called Atlantic Beach, and Atlantic Beach is a community. I assume that's similar to y'all. It's been black. It was the center of commerce and everything back in the day. You know, it was a cultural hub, and it's still persistent. And it sounds like that's what Riviera Beach is like, right?
100%. Got a port
Absolutely.
and everything. So
Okay. What was
ready
it
for
like?
business.
What was it like for y'all growing up as black men in Riviera Beach?
To be honest with you, man, I was actually born in Mississippi, and I moved to Riviera Beach when I was young. So I mean, I'm 100% to the raw, but I think Hardy is the one that you should talk to about this because he's born and bred there, and I know we're gonna have to switch in and out on this, but yeah, man, I let these guys are authentic, 100 to the cut.
Yeah.
Let
Well,
me let Hardy in.
yeah, my family's been there. My family actually had been in that city since 1928. It was the day after a major hurricane that we had. And my family walked from a community called Belglade. Part of my family is Native American, so walked over. People will walk on foot. You know, it takes an hour to get there by car, and they walked on foot. But Riviera Beach was like, man, I want to say like Black Bel Air, and then crack
Oh,
hit. I remember, living on the street where you got police, judges. It was a nice black community. Crack hit, and in 6 months it went downhill. And then right after that, you had the Haitians that came over to the area. So I always had people. Florida and South Florida is totally different. South Florida is a mixture of Cuban, Haitian, anything under the sun is in South Florida, which is Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. So it was an amazing place, and it's getting there now, even though we're being gentrified a little bit. But hell, you got a city where from my house and Zay's house, we 2 minutes from the beach, and we got 4 beaches to choose from. Or I can go to the next city as the beach. We're right on the coast, and for years we took it for granted, man. But now everybody see we in paradise.
dang. Okay. Jackie Red 489 has a question for y'all. Zay, you want to read it, or Horace?
What is your goal, 5-year
5
goal
years.
in life? And what is your first goal you want to accomplish for this? And this is for all.
Xavier?
It's a couple things. So I'm an entrepreneur. I have one fledgling business that I got. Well, I can't call it fledgling anymore because we've been at it now 3 years in, same as with the podcast. And then I guess my newest venture is my lifelong passion, which is barbering. So within the next 5 years, I want to branch out with that. I have a couple of understudies who want to learn from me. They think that my life is cool. I want to be that type of mentor because that's something that I did not have. I kind of I was a fast learner. So I would get around individuals and I can adapt kind of like a chameleon and pick up on different trades and just overall techniques and putting some other notches on my belt. Either way it go, I see these young guys, and that's what I want to do. I want to be able to put them in a position to where they get financial freedom. A lot of people don't understand that financial freedom isn't having a whole bunch of money, it's having enough money to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And they need to learn that, because a lot of times I feel like, especially for me, my IQ and some of the classes that I took, everyone expected me to go to college. I never wanted to go to college, but no one pushed me into entrepreneurship, even though it was all in my DNA code. So some of the guys that see this now that are branching off TikTok, making money, I'm talking about at a young age, but they're not doing anything illegal. Man, I'm trying to give them some mentorship and guidance so that they don't veer off the way we did at younger ages, and they can take off and get successful earlier, get married, and build the families that we wish that we kind of came from. So that's what I see for myself within the next 5 years, something entrepreneurial, where I am giving back to younger men and giving them support so they can get out here and get successful early, at an early age.
That's what's up. I love that, bro. We have the other member.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Of the Black Super Friends in the building.
Super Mario.
Super Mario.
Sorry about that, man. Sorry about being late. Day duties. Got a newborn.
It's all gravy. It's all gravy. We know how that is. The question, just to get right into it, bro, was someone asked, what is everybody's 5-year goals, and they goals outside of that moving forward. You want to get in on that?
Oh yeah, my 5-year goals is pretty much underway right now. Me and my wife have recently, the last 2 years, been investing in properties. She's from Warner Robins, right outside of Macon, and in 5 years we plan to acquire a couple more houses. As everybody know, there's a lot of stuff I don't share with a lot of people, but people in my circle kind of know we've been buying houses down in that area. I've been expanding my home inspection business. She's growing her budgeting receipts business. We've been trying to write a book together about young couples and being an entrepreneur. I heard Zay speak on that. And I recently entered into the project management field from another managerial field. And I've been working with Horace on trying to get projects so I can be able to be in a position in the city where I'm from to hire contractors and run projects that will also give the youth and just another look to for black men in that city, to see them at, a cool black man. I think I'm kind of cool, I'm older.
Yeah.
So, you can aspire to do that, and then show them different ways, like, to make money on a higher level other than just playing sports or, the quintessential selling drugs, playing sports or rapping, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of people that are paying those rappers, those athletes, and those everybody else, those sponsorships and giving all those money. You don't know the guy who owns Frito-Lay, but he just gave LeBron $1 million contract. So that guy is just as important if he can give LeBron $1 million than to think about how much money he got and you don't even know who he is. So just try. Right. So that's my 5-year goal, is to be in a position to help the youth. I think we all contribute.
Yeah. What about you, Horace?
I would say I'm the stringer bell of the group. I don't know if everybody remember the wire, but all of us are legendary in our city, man. I think we gave a blueprint, as to what. One thing, we walk around our community, people see where we came from to what we're doing now. All of us are successful businessmen in our own right. My 5-year goal, I really want to build this network. One thing about me, they'll tell you, I'm always thinking. You're not going to tell me what I can't do. In 5 years, I've just built 2 developments, so I'm hoping to leave politics in the next 2 years. But I think my 5-year goal right now is to make this show syndicate. I want to retire my guys. I want to be able to say we got a $1 million deal out of doing the Black Super Friends, and we both can walk away and still do business together. I think that's really important for us. That's probably my biggest thing for that 5-year goal there, and just keep inspiring people, man. People laugh. We went back from me doing music. People laugh. Oh, you gonna get into music? I own my own label. When I said I was gonna go into comedy, people laugh. I went on tour. And to see me come from being a regular urban youth to being into politics. I'm an appointed official and elected official. Mm-hmm. Bro, we showed people, like, we can do this. We can do
You
whatever
doing
we
it.
want. Yeah,
Y'all
we're doing
doing it down there.
it. Yeah.
For sure. How did y'all come with? Okay, what is every member's superpower?
Well, that's a good question.
Let's see. I would think if we had to be the X-Men, I would say through this like Professor X. Because I think that when it comes to the show, like you know how he was moving strings, even when he wasn't doing anything, people that think he, you know what I'm saying, did so much behind the scenes. I think he's the, you know, the person who's always pulling the strings, always saying, hey bro, I think you should do this. I think you should do this. I think Chris is would be I can't think of the doctor name, but the doctor who was married to Jean Grey, I can't think of the name, but
Doc Mouse.
yeah, that's what I think it'll be, because believe it or not, Chris is very wise. And I think if people actually took the time to stop focusing on the delivery and take the time to listen to what he's saying, I think that get overlooked a lot of times with him. He was the member of the group that sometimes was overlooked, but he was so quintessential in the success of the group. I think Zay, I think he'll be Beast. I think right now, you know how Beast was the doctor in the daytime, but then he, you know, when he was so presentable and he always tried to make sure his words, but then when he gets something and there's something to get him out of control, he just explodes, and then you see the actual Xavier. Like you see him come alive and be himself.
Yeah.
And me, I don't know. Probably they always say I'm the structured one, so I can't think of the dude who always wanted the strong dude, but I probably be him.
TD Jakes.
Juggernaut.
He TD Jakes.
Yeah.
Okay. Another visionary. Everybody, if it did everybody go to college? And if so, if y'all went to college, where y'all go?
I dropped out of Valencia Community College.
Okay. What were you majoring in when you were there?
Well, I wanted to be a fireman.
My daddy was a fireman. I grew up in the firehouse, man.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
Yeah. I definitely dropped out. Then I went back. So I had Chris probably attested this. If it wasn't for me moving up there with him when I was younger, I probably wouldn't be the guy I am today, because, you know, he gave me the vision to even want to go back to school. You know what I'm saying? Seeing him and all my other homeboys in college.
Where'd you start off at?
At Seminole Community College, because I actually wanted to be a firefighter too. Then,
Okay.
Then I went to construction management and kind of fell in love with that. Then I went to ITT Tech and graduated with my home inspection license. And then I did a course and then got my project management license. And then, you know, just kept getting licenses and stuff like that.
Oh, man. Yo, I got so much I want to say. Horace, what about you?
Yeah, we all dropouts. Listen, I went to college, and I thought college was so boring. So I wanted to be a football player. So I went to Florida State. Didn't even last semester because I had a family situation at home. And I still thought college was like overrated. You know what I mean? I was bored. Then I came back home, ended up going back to school at Indian River for stormwater engineering. But I did go to fire academy, and I completed it. As soon as I graduated from the fire academy, there wasn't no jobs. It was a 2-year freeze, and then I put on weight, so it wasn't in God plan.
Well, you know, that's kind of the next thing I was thinking about, is that's the main thing here in America now that everybody's talking about. When I'm 47, you know what I'm saying? And when we were coming up, that's all everybody was preaching: go to college, go to college, go to college. But now, 2022, we look at everybody got 100 G's worth of debt, 200 G's worth of debt, and a degree that you can't make a living off of. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that I've been trying to teach in my house, like, yo, the skill rules, the skill you get and the skill that you acquire in life to do real stuff, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you invest in cribs or whatever, man, you know, home inspector make a lot of money. You be like, damn, that home inspector just charged me a lot of money. And that's somebody, you know what I'm saying? Or even pursuing our artistic impulses. Because, Chris, you're an artist, right?
I was, yes, previously.
Okay. Can you tell us about, okay, so everybody has a passion. All right. Tell us about y'all's show. That's why I got y'all on here. All right. Y'all's show is one of the funniest, most intelligent non-PC shows from the brother's perspective. So I'm gonna have to ask y'all some stuff straight off the rip.
Yeah.
Was Kevin Samuels a hero or a villain?
Hero.
I think
Godfather.
I think it depends on the eyes you see it through. Because, you know, I think that's a thin line in life. To many people, you are a hero, then you're a villain. So I think all of us play that role. To most men, I think he was a voice for the voiceless when it comes to men. So I think as a man, he was definitely a hero. Not that doesn't mean, like Chris always says, that doesn't mean I agree with everything he says, because nobody agrees with everything of nobody says. So, but I agree that he said a lot of stuff that men said in the locker rooms, in the bars, and want to really get off their chest. So I would say hero.
Yeah, I thought he gave a lot of insight. It's like y'all want to hear what men thinking. We're a little more crass, you know, but bro, I mean, now his videos trend more after his death, and I hear people say, "Oh, well, like I understand what he's saying," but yeah, between him and Tate, they just suspended Tate. Like, men, you ain't gonna like the delivery, but man, if you take time to comprehend the message, you know, like y'all ask us, I tell women, y'all want us to listen. Like, if you take out the delivery or whatever you're not feeling, listen to it. Yeah, the brother, hey, I like the Kevin.
But I kind of want to. Because of the reasons of what they said, I kind of want to change my opinion. I think it was a villain, but we got to think about it. Even when we see superhero movies, the villain is one of the most important characters in the movie. If the villain sucks, the movie sucks. You know what I'm saying? And everybody needs a villain. Everybody needs somebody to point the finger and tell them how wrong they are. We all need. That's why his gravitas was so strong, simply because of the hate. You know what I'm saying? So I think as men we got to stop being scared to be the villain. You know, we got to make tough decisions. Everybody's not going to like what we say and how we say it, but to censor us is to censor the protection of our nation, and that doesn't make any sense to me personally. So I think in a lot of cases, man, you're better off being a villain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, brothers.
No, I was gonna agree with it. On the show, when we first started, you see our growth. When we first started our show, Chris was the villain, and somehow I've shifted to be the villain. So you've seen us grow over the years. So now I'm the one on the show that's the Kevin Samuels type. Let the people that chime in say it.
So why is that, Horace? Because I noticed that, and that's, again, for those that are just joining, we're sitting here with the cast, the host rather, of the Black Superfriends podcast. Unfortunately, whack Instagram won't let us have all four on at the same time. But the main point is they have a provocative intelligence show going places where people are not normally going, and each one of them has their own perspective. Can y'all introduce yourselves again real quick?
Yeah, I'm
Sam,
Mario.
Chris Leo, the Magnificent, Daddy is Maximus. I go by many names, but you just call me Chris Leo.
Yeah, I'm Super Mario, the daddy of 3 beautiful kids and a husband to 1 wife. So, you know, that's what made me super. If you ask.
All right. And I'm the Horace Towns, the mobile. I do everything under the sun.
Okay, so this room full of women, y'all, by the way. So we've established, y'all, ladies, that Mario is married. And are y'all other brothers single?
Like a $1 bill.
Okay. All right. So Horace, why the flipping roles, man? Why are you considered the villain now?
You know what? We because how I present stuff. Hell, if I was to say something that's amazing, right? Women be like, if I take I'm gonna take you. Me and you can say the same message. And I try to show women like y'all biased. If you see something like Derrick Jackson, I don't agree with 90% of what he say, but if a good looking dude or what a woman feel is an appealing dude come on here and say XYZ, they, oh yes, thank you, Jesus. Oh yeah, he telling the truth. Now who ugly? Let me see. Name somebody ugly come on and do that same message. Ain't nobody listening to him. You know what I mean? So on the show, we've had people feel like, oh, he too arrogant. He's too this. He's too that. When I'm simply saying, hey, I know where I'm at. You know, you can't really say what you need to say to certain people. Like, I know what I'm looking for. I know what I want, and it's been deemed to be arrogant. But
So let me ask you this, Horace.
Mm-hmm.
You out here and you dating, right?
Not really, but
okay. But you're available
try.
to date, right?
Yeah.
You dealt with some BS like many of us in the past,
yeah.
right? Is your perspective heavily colored by some of your experiences in the past?
No, and that's the good part. When we first started the show, we have been so transparent on the show. You know what I mean? And through the show, man, we've had show talking about traumas and how it relates to our dating. You know, me, like, bro, I gotta give it to myself. Like, we address so much. It might be a show where Chris tear my ass off and I'm mad as hell. It's gonna be Mario say Cap. You know what I mean? Like, we really give it to each other on air. And they call out some things they don't agree with. But no, I took time off after my separation, after I got divorced, and I didn't want to date. Like, I actually, as much as possible, I actually took time to, like, say, I'm just gonna sit on the bench and get myself together for once, And that's what, as a single man, you don't have to. You can go vine to vine, but we was mature about it and say, nah, let me put myself on the side for a minute and see what part I played in my own relationship problems.
Y'all are really transparent. What's each of y'all's perspectives, man? Chris, you single, I assume?
Yeah.
And Chris, for those that don't know, is a sage full of wisdom. He's the date doctor, and his anecdotes have enlightened generations,
more than that,
millennia of in a fix. What's your perspective on the dating game, Chris?
Man, I look at it like this, man. I think, as for men, because I don't speak for women, I speak for men. I think that you got to look at it almost like a business. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want the best type of woman at the most affordable price. You know what I'm saying? So the way I look at it is this: it's easy to find a woman that you have to do everything for. It's harder to find a woman that pours into you, like truly pours into you. So but with that being said, they stick out more. So instead of worrying about female nature and female behavior, you control how you rock, and then you allow people that want to be involved in your life come in, and the ones that don't, let them leave. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of the people that say it's pissing the dating pool. I think that as men, we control it. We control who has access to us, and with that control, we can't whine about what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. No 100. Doubt. Zay, why did you get married, and what was it about your wife that made you turn the card in?
Oh, that's Super Mario. Super Mario.
I'm sorry, Mario. I'm sorry, Mario. Damn. My fault.
But I think that when I look at marriage, I look at kingdom building. I'm a religious guy, so most of my points gonna come from purpose. So I feel like in purpose, it's about building a lineage and building a strong familyhood. And I think, to me, I don't want to sound Derrick Jackson, but I know this is, and they can attest to this. They'll call them captive if I think I'm lying. I believe the strongest support system and the strongest foundation you have is marry a black woman, raise black kids to be successful. That's how you knock down all kind of boundaries. That's how you knock down, like, economic. Like, right now, you have a black woman making in a high amount and a black man committed to each other. So you're seeing this. So my kids gonna grow up seeing this family dynamic firsthand. They're gonna see me come in the house, kiss. You know what I'm saying? That was one of the things. So that's what made me want to get married. What made me, I did some thoughts. So since I wanted, I'm a firm believer. If you want something, then you got to work to put yourself in the position. I think that's what Chris always alludes to be able to get the highest offer from that. So what happened is I said, well, what are all the things that I see that a woman that I want like? So most women I know like a guy who in shape, a guy in the gym. Most women like a guy with a pretty smile, a guy braces. Women, I always hear women say, I like a man who can dress. I always did that. I like a man who's educated, who on his business. I went and got my money up. That's what I'm saying. So I put myself in a position where I can say, I'm here. I don't have to prove I am here. I am a leader in every aspect. So now I just need a person to come in and who okay with being led and who's gonna take this kingdom building and who has a kingdom building mind. Because if you understand the kingdom building mind, you understand us together fulfills the purpose. God might have gave me the purpose, but it can't be completed without you because I always need to help me. So I think I met my wife and I felt like nonchalantly, she fulfilled the purpose. Like then I could not see me going down this road without her assistance. And then I said in prayer, I really see that I love you beyond physical. Like I feel like this love is purposeful, and then that's where it goes. I talked to all my homeboys. they definitely grilled me on why was I getting married when I had worked so hard to attain a level of I could get a lot of women. You in Atlanta, I was making all right money. I had things. So now you reach that level where like I'm not settling. Like I can get the best of the best of women, but then I got
you stay in A right now?
Right now, I got married in the A, which is rare. I tell everybody, don't try that at home.
You're a brave man.
Yeah.
I want to say everybody on here lived in Atlanta at some point, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we all talk the same language, so to speak,
right.
About the potholes that one can fall into out here in these streets. But your wife will fulfill your purpose. So I want to know from all the fellas, how do we fix black male-female relationships?
Well, it takes a warning on both parties first. It can't be you go first and then I go. We can't take that on that mindset. But I think at the end of the day, we got to start looking at each other as all family. You know what I'm saying? Like that is my sister. So I don't want to do nothing to her that I wouldn't want done to my brother. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta start thinking of it in that mindset to be honest. But as for men, I think that we gotta continue to be men. We have to be unapologetic men and allow the women that want to be with us. The one that don't, because there's always going to be ones that don't. So again, let them make their own decisions. And I think once we start getting together and producing positive seeds from us being together, then it has become popular again. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's my opinion.
Okay. Are you in a relationship now? These ladies are asking.
Nah, I'm not in a relationship right now, man. I'm actually trying to build a castle so I can have the queen come in.
Is it hard to find a queen out here?
I'm gonna take it. I take a lot of advice from DeMario. I think a lot of it is you first. You know what I'm saying? You are never gonna find a queen if you ain't looking. You know what I'm saying? You have to start looking, and then you got to say, what would a queen like? He in his mind he conceptualized what a queen would like, and then he put it in action. Until you decide you want to do that, everything is wishing on a star. Everything is cap. Everything is just rap. Until you were to put the work in as a man, I don't think this is going to rock.
Y'all got some questions out here. LJB Poet says, why are some men afraid to lead? That's question number one.
No, we don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that. We have to restructure that question. We do not man bash and we do not man shame. Everyone, ma'am, is not built to be a leader. Everyone is, but that doesn't make him a bad guy. That doesn't make nothing wrong with him. If you want a leader, if you knew what a leader was, you wouldn't need one. What we need is better followers, man.
Go ahead, Horace.
Yeah, I want to restructure that. Like, it's just growing up, doctor, when you go to grandma's house, you always say, we're going to grandma's house. Nobody ever say granddaddy's house, right? Granddaddy then goddamn broke his back to give grandma that house. So what I'm saying is, it's not that we don't lead. Like right now, for the first time, we're looking for reciprocity. That's it. Like, not to be arrogant, all of us have our own money. We ain't struggling. We got houses, we got cars, we got businesses. Why wouldn't I want the best return on my investment? If I'm going to change somebody's life, like what's wrong with me wanting a partner? Because see, I think a lot of people that are dating are selling this illusion to people, trying to get them. You know what I mean? But at some point, that truth gonna come out. So I'm just saying, men do lead. And if he ain't the one to lead you, then it ain't your guy.
I think this too. I think when people ask that question right there, I always say, I understand what leadership is, right? So I think when you say, wow, man, scared to lead, I think most of the time the men you're meeting, when you're saying they're scared, just not leading the way you want them to. See, a lot of leading is in the eye of the beholder, just like beauty. So right now, it's 32 teams in the NFL. They all have coaches. One player can go from one team to one team to one team. That doesn't mean that he's a bad coach. That means he's not leading the way you want him to lead. So a lot of times you get that asterisk on your head, oh, he's a man who don't know how to lead. No, he's just not leading the way you want to lead. So know what you need to do? Go find you another coach that works or playing another system. Because it's about systems. Every leader, Chris leads different than Mario. Horace leads different than Zay. All of us lead different. So my wife might say she don't like the way Chris leads. That don't mean that Chris not a leader. That just means that she doesn't play in that system. And I think if people start looking at it like that, then you will stop downside, like what he said, bashing the person because they don't fit your view on what a leader should be. You know what I'm saying? I just want, before we go on to that, I want to say this. When you ask that question about what would make the black family back together, I think you said that right there. I think when people start valuing marriage and relationships, whether you want to say marriage or not, when they start valuing it, I think this: black women are some of the most overcoming, successful, take no shit people in the world.
Right.
Have shown tenacity for years and years and years to overcome everything we've thrown at each other.
Without a doubt.
As soon as you put us in a room together, we can't seem to get this together. And you know why? Because we don't. Because right now, having a lot of money, looking good, a lot of followers, all that mean more than us than compromise and purpose and compassion. Like all the building blocks to marriage take selflessness. And right now with this internet phase, it's more about self. So when you're talking about a relationship, that's total selflessness. So that's why the value there is low, because then you have to share the spotlight with somebody. And I think if people start saying, hold up, it's just important for me to be a good husband as it is for me to be a millionaire. It's just important for me to be a good husband as it is for me to be a good father. It's just important for me to be a good husband as it is for me to be a good leader. That matters. But I think in the black community, it's everything than if I get married. And I think that's the problem.
Super Mario, I must ask, and then I'll get Chris, you were going to speak next. Is that right?
I wanted to interject.
All right. I just want to ask, how did you arrive at your conviction about marriage? Did you learn it in church? I think you implied that you grew up without that, right?
Yeah. My mom and dad weren't married, right? But what I did is this. I'm a truth seeker, right? So, and I'm the youngest out of all of them. I might not look like it, but I am, right? So at some point in my life, every one of them, Zay, Horace, and Chris, I have went to them for brotherly advice, right? As I have other friends who've been like, bro, I want to be good at this. So when I hear people say, if I was to come to you, you say, well, the economics in the black community is seeping out because we don't have families. So that tells me that's kingdom building. So then I see that I grew up in life. I didn't have no roadmap because I didn't have no daddy that with me. So I don't want my next generation. So I start seeing hold up. But then I think about, then you're right. Here comes the biblical part of it. And when I think about the intendedness of what we were made for, woman and man, it was simply to be kingdom building. That's it. The whole purpose was to give praise and build kingdoms for God. So now I think that once we get off the initial plan, you off the rail. It don't matter how you look at it. That's why other groups of people are selling at a high level, because they understand it, if you just ask me.
No doubt. Chris, what's your perspective, bro?
Well, I don't want to speak on that because I think that Hardy, I let him talk because I want to listen more than I talk on that. You know.
I mean your perspective on what black men and women need to do to get it together.
Well, I really want to talk about the leadership thing.
Okay.
That's heavy to me. Like, I'm a sports guy, so when I take sports analogies, the greatest football head coaches, Bill Belichick, a lot of people think he wasn't as great at the Browns when he was there, but he got better players, a system, head general manager that believes in him, gave him stability. He became one of the greatest head coaches to ever coach NFL. I keep on saying this. It takes willing followers. I don't care how good of a coach you are. If your team don't want to follow, don't want to buy into the system, and don't want to follow you, you will never be a good coach. You'll never be a good leader. I know bad leaders that if their team was willing to go through a wall for them, he still would be a successful coach.
Right.
So again, I think that it's all about having willing followers. And once we have willing followers, we automatically create better leaders.
And I think that piggyback off what I was saying, Taj, of like, Chris is 1,000% right. Because the goal has to be what? A championship. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if the goal has to be marriage, like, you have to want it. Like, Bill Belichick found Tom, like he said, and built the system, but everybody's goal was what? Marriage. Mm-hmm. So the Dallas Cowboys are the richest franchise in the world. And we sorry because of what? Everything else. And the goal can't not be championship. So you can make a lot of money. You can have fancy things. You can do all that. But then you won't be in championship if you don't all be on one accord. So I agree with Chris 1,000%.
Hardy said something to me a long time ago in the conversation. I'm going to let Zay go. But he said something to me a long time ago. If we're not negotiating with marriage, then we have no chips on the table. We have to be selling marriage. We have to be selling relationships. If we're selling that, then we're saying, if you want this, if you want to buy this, this is what it's going to cost you. This is what you have to do.
So just so I'm clear, Chris, we as black men, you mean?
Right.
As
we as
men,
a community.
We have to say our negotiating, our leverage has to be, here's a ring. Do you want this? Here's a relationship, a committed relationship. Do you want this? Hardy said, if you're not negotiating with those chips, then you can't win this game.
Right.
You can't, because who gives a damn about your, a situationship? Who gives a damn about that? What you're selling is a ring, and or a committed relationship that leads to a ring. Without that leverage, without that being your leverage, you can't get anything in return.
That's the only thing a woman can't give herself. Is
exactly.
A relationship with a man or a fundamental marriage. Everything else a woman can give herself. So your money, your looks, all that stuff ain't gonna matter. If you're not promising her that the quintessential, I got your back, we're committed, this is it, marriage, then you don't have nothing to really bring to the table, because everything else black women have shown you over the years, they blown through the roof. So if you're saying, I don't want to get married, you lose every time, because the goal is something that she can obtain herself without you.